It's technology expert Burton Kelso here with another tech tip to help you get the most out of the technology in your life. Today we're talking about domestic abuse and Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. Domestic abuse comes every October, and the whole purpose of the month is to bring awareness about domestic abuse as it affects people of all races, ages, cultures, and religions. The unfortunate thing about domestic abuse is the simple fact that abusers can use technology now in order to track and harass abusers. A variety of ways, such as GPS technology, Wi Fi technology, and just simple apps that can be downloaded and used by any abuser out there. So if you or anyone out there is a victim of domestic abuse, then you need to follow these tips in order to keep safe from your abusers. Now, I'm going to break it down into two different sections because the first section is to find out if your abuser is using technology to harass or to follow you. And the second is when you decide to make that step to break away and get away from your abuser and to start anew, tips to help you make sure that you limit your identity online or even with your technology devices. So with that said, let's start with the first section, which is to identify if your abuser is using technology to track you. So the first step is you need to recognize the warning signs of if an abuser is starting to use technology to monitor and to harass you. So some of the warning signs include if you were ever gifted any piece of technology, and that's smartphones, tablets, smart home, anything that uses the internet, the abuser may have gifted you that item in order to track your habits. Also, another warning sign is if your abuser knows where you are all the time, or if you notice that emails that you haven't deleted have somehow wound up in your recycle bin. If you've noticed that you've been unfriended or have unfriended people on social media, and you have a gut suspicion that the abuser has got onto your social media accounts to unfriend people. Also, if your abuser knows intimate details of conversations that you've had online or even through text messaging, there's ways that accounts can share text messaging or software can be installed on your device to monitor phone calls and text messages and even phone logs. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those warning signs to verify if an abuser is using technology to follow or harass you. The second tip is to make an inventory of all of your technology devices. And when I say all technology devices, most people automatically assume that I'm talking about smartphones because obviously that is the most personal item that we carry to ourselves that can be tracked via GPS location or apps. But these things that you want to make inventory on include hardware items such as laptop computers and desktop computers. It can even include smart home or smart alarm devices. It also includes any devices that your kids may have, whether it be a smartphone or game system. Also includes your online accounts. Your online accounts are important because your searches can be looked through if you have a Google, Bing, or Yahoo account. Also, if you're taking advantage of social media to either market yourself or your business, or if you're using social media to stay in contact with people, obviously your social media accounts have the ability to track on those items, and you want to make sure that you know what devices you have so that when the time comes, you know what accounts to change, what accounts not to change, and of course which devices to keep or to reset, as if you decide it's time to leave that abusive relationship, then you need to know that you're making changes to all of your tech items, because only one, and it only takes one for an abuser to get a hold of to relocate you and to start abusing and harassing you again. So tip number 3 of the first section is to check the apps on all of your devices. And some devices are easy to spot as far as the apps as opposed to others. So if you've got a desktop computer, you want to go to the control panel and to make sure that there are no apps installed on your computer, whether it be a Windows or Macintosh computer, to ensure that no one's seen your devices. Now under Windows, I guess we can do a quick search on both Windows and Mac. It's under Control Panel, and then there's a section called I've got my junky desktop up. Let's hide that. You want to go to Programs and Features, which is over here. Now, if you've got the category view, your programs are going to be installed under Programs and uninstall a program. And so what you want to do is to be sure to go through and then identify all of the apps are installed on your Windows computer to verify that there is no app on there that you aren't aware of. Now, because under most circumstances when it comes to programs, they have to be installed on your computer in order for your devices, in order for apps to work on your computer. Now, as far as a Macintosh computer, it's just a matter of going to applications. So let's go to desktop and go to our Mac desktop, and then from the Finder, go and then go to applications. So if you look for anything under applications that you don't recognize, and here are all the Mac applications, you can identify what's installed on your Mac. Now, as far as deleting those items, you want to wait until you are leaving your abuser before you start deleting apps, because the challenge with apps is that sometimes the abuser will be notified if you delete an app. Now, as far as your smartphone, it's pretty simple. If you go on your smartphone, it's just a matter of looking at your smartphone apps, and I'll briefly show you mine, and just looking through all your apps to make sure that there's no app on there that you don't recognize. But it's pretty as simple as that. But if you find anything odd, wait, take note of it, and then make sure that when it's time to leave, that you delete those apps off of your computer and off your smartphone and tablet. Next is use passcodes on your devices as opposed to facial recognition. Now, the reason that you want to do that is most people keep their smartphones with them at all times. So if an abuser wants to see what's going on with your smartphone and you've got facial recognition turned on, then it's easier for an abuser to just wait till you're asleep, get your smartphone, point it towards your face, and then open up your smartphone. If you want to keep a limit on your abuser, it's best just to use a passcode. I know it's a pain in the butt, but a passcode works a little bit better when you're trying to access your smart device, because the abuser would either A, have to know your passcode to get into your phone, or B, ask you your passcode to get into it. But facial recognition makes it a little bit easier to get into your devices, especially if you have an abuser or stalker who is secretly trying to monitor your stuff. Now, the next section of tips you want to be careful of and do only once you are deciding to leave your abuser, because any changes or anything that you do, you want to make sure that once you start removing stuff, if your abuser gets notified, then you're basically gone in the wind as far as making sure that you're getting away from your abuser. So with that said, tip number 1 is to change the passwords for all of your devices in your online accounts. I know it's probably easier said than done if you're escaping an abuser, but it's one of the things that people don't think about when they're leaving an abusive relationship, is changing all the passwords to your devices and online accounts. And that comes into play when I suggested earlier that you take note of all of your online accounts so that you can understand when it's time to leave the abuser, that you can take note of your online and app and device information and change all of those passwords. If changing passwords isn't enough and you think what you have on your computer or device is called stalkerware, and to kind of step back a minute, stalkerware is software that can be installed on both a computer and your smartphone and tablet. So stalkerware sometimes can be installed invisibly on your tech devices. So it's important that if you don't see the software, one of the things that you do is to reset your device. Now, performing a factory reset on your devices will wipe out any programs that are tracking your information. That is keylogging software, parental control software, or even stalkerware. If you reset your computer, your smartphone, tablets, and all of your other devices back to factory defaults, it'll wipe out any settings or any changes to those accounts, so that a stalker or an online abuser or even a real life domestic abuser can't access or continue to access your devices. One of the items that I forgot to mention earlier, as far as devices that can be used to track you, would be your automobile. So if you've got a newer model automobile, then you've got OnStar or one of the tracking services on that. Obviously, if you're leaving an abusive relationship, you want to let the manufacturers or the creators of those apps that are built into your vehicle to be known, to know that you're leaving an abusive relationship, so that your automobile can no longer be tracked the existing way through the app that is associated with your automobile. So keep that in mind. It's factory reset. So next, you want to change your privacy settings on social media. A good Google search on social media will allow anyone to find your social media accounts. So that's why it's either important for you to set up an anonymous account on social media, or if you decide that you need to keep your name for a reason or another, that you set up your social media account so that you can not have them show up on a Google search or any other search engine. If you go into the privacy settings for any of your social media accounts, you can definitely create an account that's private, that you can only allow people to access if you want them to have access to. Another way of being elusive or unknown and invisible on social media is just to create new accounts, delete your old accounts, and just create anonymous accounts using a fake name, so that way people can't find you on social media. Also, you want to disconnect from some of your existing friends on social media for the time being, because sometimes abusers will look at your common friends list to see if they've recently connected with someone new, or if they've reconnected with you in another instance. So make sure you cut those ties and make sure that you gradually build up those contacts, if you can trust those contacts not to reveal your identity. And of course, with social media, it's to be said, once you escape your abuser, that you make sure that you don't share any personal information on any of your social media accounts, kids' photos, any of that, because abusers can track your photos online, especially if you've got a public account, just by using facial recognition software. Say they identify you or kids or anything like that. And make sure that if you are escaping an abusive relationship, that your friends, especially ones that you're connected to, don't tag you on social media, because that would be an alert to let other people know that where you are. And of course, if their account's public and yours private, if they tag you, then it's easy for an abuser to find you and to start abusing and harassing you again. And then finally, make sure that you, as far as technology is concerned, that you use a service to remove your identity. Sometimes people try to do it manually, but it can just be too much. So services like Enroll Me will enroll you from subscriptions from email accounts, but more importantly, Delete Me will allow you to go through and have your identity deleted on social media. And one of the good resources that Delete Me has is the DIY opt-out guide, which will allow you to find out for free how to protect your data. And that's important because when it comes through trying to, let's get rid of that, get out, these are the services that can give you away. Spokio, My Life, Reader-S, White Pages, and Tell-Us, and Been Verified can definitely snitch on you, to use a word, and help your abuser to relocate you, because all of these services utilize data collection not utilities, but technology in order to build a portrait of you. So again, most of you probably already know this. A quick Google search, you can definitely find someone online. So the same thing with your abuser. So go to joindeleteme.com or Unroll Me to get yourself off of those internet search pages so that your abuser cannot locate you in your new identity. So I have to say that if you are in danger or are a victim of abuse and you want to get out, you definitely need to call 911 immediately. If you are or have your phone tracked or any of your tech devices tracked, one of the things that you can do, if you're available, go to a library or a public place and call 911, or you can get online with various websites using the library computer if open, and report. You can also call 1-800-799-SAFE to find help near you if you're being abused in an abusive relationship. So that goes for you or anyone you suspect may be in an abusive relationship. Make sure that they have the resources and help so that they can get out of escape the abusive relationship and include and have and enjoy a normal life. So, like I always say, I love technology and I've read the manuals, and I'm serious about making technology fun and easy to use for everyone. If you're looking for great tech tips like this or other tips or have questions, be sure to either leave your questions in the comment section below, or you can subscribe and like myself, Burton Kelso, the technology expert, or my company Integral, to find tips and tricks that are designed to help you get more from the technology you use at home and at work. So take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile. And again, if you are in an abusive relationship, please seek help. Reach out, and hopefully you can get the resources and help to get you out of that abusive relationship. So take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile. And thanks for watching.